we'll be interviewing a renowned personality, Dr. Chand Trehan. She's travelled from length to breadth for various workshops and seminars. She has done her Ph.D. from Punjabi University. She has started an organization called Eminent. She has won various awards like the Rashtriya Gaurav Award and the Rotary Award for her contribution towards counselling. Dr. Chand Trehan is the only tele-counsellor in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Sit back and enjoy the journey of her life. Welcome to Mystic Interviews. Hi ma'am, how are you?
Hi Devika.
And what's new in life?
Devika, I've just come back and I really found this a surprise that you started this Mystic Interviews, and I'm so happy and proud that my student is into this. Congratulations to you.
Thank you so much. Please tell us about your beautiful journey as a counsellor.
Devika, when I was going in for my graduation, and believe me, I did not know what psychology meant. And I asked my mom, what is this subject? So she said it's study of behavior. That really fascinated me. And then to top it, somebody said that if you take up honors, that means you're intelligent. So way back in 1978, I took up psychology with honors, and I found it very interesting. I completed my graduation from GCW Chandigarh, and then I did my masters from Punjab University. After that, I got married, and but somehow psychology always fascinated me, and I started my doctorate. I completed my doctorate, and then I went into the field of counselling. I love teaching, but I hated correction. So counselling was something which fascinated me, and especially when I could help people come back and get better and happy in life, that really made me so happy. So that's how I started working in 1993. And then I came to Jammu in 2000, and unfortunately in J&K, whenever one would talk about counselling or mental health, so it was taken as a taboo and a stigma, and nobody would talk to me. So I had to camouflage my clinic in a school.
Okay.
That was in 2000 when I got my first client. And after that, JK School was the first school. There was a lady, Mrs. Pushpa Chawla, who was widely travelled and a wonderful educationist. So she gave me a chance to work as a counsellor in the state. So it was in 2000 that I started working as a counsellor, and I'm still trying to work and help.
You are a renowned counsellor of Jammu and Kashmir, and the first one. You started your counselling centre, and 25 years back you started it. So how does it feel to be, mental illness is a taboo in our state? So how difficult was it for you?
Oh, believe me Devika, it was very difficult because people would not get their children to me. People would not come on their own, and people would shy away from me if they came to know that I was a psychologist or a counsellor. So they felt that I could read them. So they would always stay away from me. And then I started, in schools, creating awareness among students. In fact, I hats off to the younger generation because they took up counselling very positively. And then that's where the journey to make counselling possible for everybody started. And a lot of schools like Jodamal, KC International, and a whole lot of army schools, they all joined hands. And I'm very happy that CBSE 7 years back has made it mandatory that every school should have a counsellor. But the journey was very tough, and I'm happy now that people voluntarily come to me in the clinic, and children come on their own, and a lot of people ask for tele-counselling, and a lot of people email to me, and they realize that like you have sore throat and you go to an ENT specialist, if you are stressed and you have any kind of problem where there's a roadblock, then go to a counsellor. So I'm really happy things are changing in Jammu also.
Okay, so you've had an incredible journey.
Yes.
It's 25 years.
Yes.
In our Indian society, parents, they adopt different parental styles. So tell us more about that.
Devika, the best I would suggest to everybody is to handle the children in a democratic way. They have to be handled firmly, not very strictly and not very liberal.
Okay.
And what I would suggest is that the child should know when a parent says no, means no.
Oh, exactly.
And mother and father should always connect with each other, discuss how they're going to be bringing up the child. Child is very smart.
Exactly.
He knows exactly when to blackmail the parents. So at the younger days, a little bit of firm handling, but as the child becomes an adolescent, the parents should really become democratic, they should be like friends, and they should be open. But at the end of it, be firm. So some ground rules of the house should be always made so that the child does not really go astray.
Okay. And what about children who are from abusive households?
Yeah, I feel very sad for them. But then it depends again on the parent, because if it has happened that the child has faced that kind of, so child is into a lot of trauma.
Exactly.
So that has to be really handled empathetically. And in the society, I would also take the support of the teachers and the neighbors and the uncle and aunts.
Yes, yes. And marriages are failing these days. Divorce rate is very high.
Yeah.
So tell us, what are the problems usually people are facing that is leading to divorce?
You know, a lot of people come to the clinic with this kind of problem, with marital discord problems. And by and large, what I have seen is that lack of patience, lack of sacrifice for each other, and unconditional love is what is missing in the youth today. So we have somewhere a self-centered society coming up where we don't want to do anything for anybody selflessly. So we got to understand that marriage is a permanent bond and nobody's perfect. And we got to accept each other with all the flaws and all the good points.
Right.
And when we overlook a lot of flaws, life is beautiful.
Yes.
So it's just that if I'm not perfect, the other person is also not perfect. So if we start thinking that whatever it may be, we got to walk on this road together, then marriages can never fail.
Yes.
So it's
But
so sad.
it's very sad.
If you start exploring the reasons, it would be probably lack of patience or probably a mismatch in the income which is coming in. And also, you know, like one is trying to outdo the other, not realizing that we are partners for life. And whatever we are getting it for one home. We are not two separate souls. So when we start sacrificing like that and moving together, there is no question of a marriage failing.
Exactly. Because if marriages are failing, their children are suffering.
Absolutely. I feel very sad for those children.
Yes.
And those are the children who are tomorrow's dropouts, antisocial elements and drug addicts and so many other things.
Yes. And I think these children who are from broken homes, unfortunately, they are more into drugs and they are more into having relationships. So they keep falling into different kind of relationships.
Yeah,
and
because,
then again,
because you know, they cannot understand why the parents are not happy together when they see other parents happy.
Right.
And so they cannot understand the meaning of life properly. So it is very important that the parents sacrifice. If they've given birth to a child, ensure that the child has a happy home, even if it amounts to sacrificing your own adjustments with each other.
So love your children unconditionally and have a good relationship.
Absolutely.
Coming to your organization, which is Care North. So you started that organization 2 years back. Tell us more about Care North and how is it helping the society and young counsellors?
Devika, when I also worked in the university for some time and I've been interacting all across India with a lot of people, I realized that our state does not have anything really which is focused on skill building and on parenting sessions. So I created this organization with people like you in it also, and a lot of other young youth. Anybody and everybody to join in. Because I realized that in the state we have, our academics are very good, but nothing is really being done for skill building. So if I'm talking about counselling, people know the theory of counselling, but how to practice counselling, not many know. So this triggered off this idea of starting Care North. Also, there's a vacuum where parenting is concerned, and there are no colleges for parenting. So I thought that let's create a platform where all experts get together and start working for the society, especially for J&K, that we would do skill building workshops, we would do parental, we would do any and every kind of workshop which we see across India and internationally, which would benefit the youth of our state. So all are welcome to join in, and it's a beautiful organization, and I feel very happy because we have really moved quite ahead.
And I think it's coming on YouTube as well.
On parenting tips.
Mental disorders like anxiety and depression, a lot of youngsters are going through them. What's the reason behind it, and give an advice to the youngsters today?
Devika, they are on the rise because their child-parent connect is not there. Children, in fact all adults also today, they are glued to gadgets, and gadgets don't have feelings. So it's very important that we cultivate interpersonal relations, we talk to people, and we stay in groups where there are people. And I have seen lately that the younger generation is happier sitting with a smartphone or a laptop. So that boils to sitting in isolation and not really having feelings coming towards them.
Right.
My suggestion to everybody is that yes, limit your time with the gadgets.
Okay.
Increase your time with other people.
Right.
Go meet, go out and look for people and talk to them. And also hold your self-esteem very high.
Okay.
At times we just say that, okay, I am really not worth it.
Right.
But then it's your mind saying it to yourself. So it has to be positive and say that I am the best and I can do everything.
Right.
So that changed the attitude.
Okay, so that was a very good message actually. But ma'am, a lot of parents are pressurizing their children, you know, they keep saying you are useless, you're good for nothing. So 3 parental tips you would like to give to today's parents?
I would definitely tell the parents that connect with your children, that's one. Second, that they are the role models for their children, so they got to work up to it.
Exactly.
And third, very important is that change as the child changes with age.
Okay.
So when the child is young, it's a different way of dealing, and when the child is an adolescent, I always call the adolescent an adult.
Right.
So interact with your growing adults in a different manner, become friends and connect.
Okay, so the connect is important,
Yes,
and
very
I think
important.
you should have a friendly attitude
Absolutely.
towards your children. A lot of children, they don't, you know, express themselves to others or their parents. They're hiding their feelings, they're bottling it up, and that leads to again anxiety
Absolutely.
and depression.
Yes.
So what can they do if they have that, you know, thing in them that they're not confident and their self-esteem is low? So what can they do?
See, again it will boil down to the adults in the society. It could be the parents, it could be the teachers who detect that. And secondly, for the youth, I would say that write a diary. So somehow vent out your feelings,
Right.
and try connecting with people who are your age,
Exactly.
and also try to speak out
Yes.
whatever fears or whatever stress factors that you have within you. Because unless you speak out, you cannot be ever happy.
Exactly. I think that's a good message.
It's very
from your
important.
side. You are my mentor and mentor to many young girls today. So who was your mentor when you were growing up?
I would give the credit to my parents, my mother who got me psychology, and my father who really encouraged me to do my master's, my doctorate, and then work as a counselor, and also my husband and my brother, because they both are from the army and they always felt help people before you even think about yourself without expectation. And that is what a counselor's job is, to look after people's happiness and
Yes.
have no expectation in return.
Exactly. Ma'am, drug addiction has become a menace in the society.
Very sad.
What are the success stories you're having?
Devika, fortunately, these children who actually get into drugs, they get into it unknowingly. As old as a class 6-year-old child is also vulnerable. As they go adolescent, they want to really explore. So if the parents are smart and if their parents are alert, they can always catch the child at that moment when he's going astray. And if the child is brought to a counselor that time and interacts with the counselor periodically, the child can change, because basically the counselor helps the child identify the reason why he slipped into drugs in the first place, and also teach them life skills so that they can fight out this menace.
Okay.
So it is very important that we, as in the society, especially all adults, get together, connect with the children and create awareness what happens when somebody misuses drugs.
Okay.
So it should be in schools that they should have these kind of awareness campaigns, in the society and through the media, of course.
Okay. And a lot of children are experimenting, you know,
Yes.
so it starts with experimenting and then they
All adolescents do that.
yeah, everybody is doing that. You know, a lot of youth, which is again very sad, are committing suicides and self-harm, like they're cutting their arms and all. So what is the reason behind that?
See, it could be attention seeking.
Yes.
It could be the parent-child connect is not there, so the child does not know whom to express to. And then again, a taboo which the counselors hold, that okay, I will not go to a counselor because I am not mentally ill.
Exactly.
So it has to be taken in a different light. The counselor is a friend who's just a facilitator to help you reach the solution to your problem. So once the child understands this, they go connect with a counselor, these kind of problems will actually really vanish.
Okay. So that is what these things should eradicate, and I think that will be a good thing. And
it's a cry for help actually.
Yes.
The self-harm and trying to like threaten that you're going to commit suicide.
Yes.
This is basically a little alarm that should trigger off the others to help the child.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Exactly. And what about sexual harassment? You must be getting cases like that. So any success stories again?
Yeah, it is. Actually what happens is in the case of a sexual assault, the victim, the self-esteem falls down. So, to build that up needs time and a lot of effort. But my question again to the society would be here, that why should it happen? So somewhere the parent-child connect is missing. So the values are not taught, and therefore this happens. So the victim actually is the one who really needs help, and they feel that somewhere, like they're not worth the society anymore. So we really have to work a lot. The success rate is high, but takes time. It's a lot of effort.
Okay. You've traveled across the country and you've attended different seminars and workshops. So tell us more about your journey, traveling and going to different states and having presentations.
Devika, I love counselling. That's a passion with me, and I'm also a trainer. So many times I go for CBSE workshop because I'm a resource person with CBSE. I'm also a tele helpline counsellor with CBSE, and so I go across because Care North is invited across the country for conducting a lot of workshops, and for teachers, for parents, and also for students. So it's a passion to really distribute as much knowledge as I can, and I would want a lot of people to join me under the umbrella of Care North, so that more and more people benefit. And when I go across the country, definitely I get a lot of things for the state, which I love to share again under my umbrella Care North.
Right. And you have won various national awards for your contribution towards society, which is counselling, which is again a very noble job. And a counsellor is a person who will always be with you. That person will be empathetic towards you. So how important is empathy as a counsellor?
Empathy is very important because unless a counsellor is empathetic, he really cannot understand what the other person is facing. So counselling is not as easy as it sounds. It has a lot of depth, and empathy is the key to success for a counsellor.
Right. It's my honor to have Dr. Chand Trehan with me today. She's my mentor, and if I'm sitting here today, it's because of her. I started working with her 4 years back, and I've learned a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm also very fortunate to have a lovely student like you. God bless you and wish you luck for your future endeavours.
Thank you. Thank you.
My message for the counsellors would be that they should be empathetic. They should really work for everybody in the society, get happiness and get smile on everybody's face with no expectations. Because the key to success, to good counselling, is maintaining confidentiality, maintaining ethics, and maintaining lots of unconditional love for everyone. Thank you.